ويحزنهم الفزع الأكبر وتتلقاهم الملائكة هذا يومكم كنتم توعدون يوم نطوي السماء كطي السجل للكتاب كما بدأنا أول خلق نعيده وعدا علينا إنا كنا فاعلين ولقد كتبنا في الزبور من بعد الذكر أن الأرض يرثها عبادي الصالحون إن في هذا لبلاغا لقوم عابدين وما أرسلناك إلا رحمة للعالمين قل إنما يوحى إلي أنما إلهكم إله واحد فهل أنتم مسلمون فإن تولوا فقل آذنتكم على سواء وإن أدري أقريب أم بعيد ما توعدون إنه يعلم الغيب إنه يعلم الجهر من القول ويعلم ما تكتمون قل رب احكم بالحق وربنا الرحمن المستعان على ما تصفون بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم إنا فتحنا لك فتحا مبينا ليغفر لك الله ما تقدم من ذنبك وما تأخر ويتم نعمته عليك ويهديك صراطا مستقيما وينصرك الله نصرا عزيزا هو الذي أنزل السكينة في قلوب المؤمنين ليزدادوا إيمانا مع إيمانهم ولله جنود السماوات والأرض وكان الله عليما حكيما ليدخل المؤمنين والمؤمنات جنات تجري من تحتها الأنهار خالدين فيها ويكفر عنهم سيئاتهم وكان ذلك عند الله ليدخل المؤمنين والمؤمنات جنات تجري من تحتها الأنهار خالدين فيها ويكفر عنهم سيئاتهم وكان ذلك عند الله فوزا عظيما. صدق الله العظيم.
And how we got to where we are today, I'm going to ask the Secretary General of the organization, Brother Sam Jamal, to come up and share with you the history of USCMO. Thank you.
Okay, well, we wanted to have a little fun there too. Okay, أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول الله. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. First of all, thank you so much for being with us here tonight. It is wonderful. I'm very grateful for your response, for your support, for recognizing the most important thing for our community is our unity. And that's why we're all here tonight. So for that, we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bless us and to continue to bless us with this wonderful unity that we enjoy today. The U.S. Council of Muslim Organizations is a coalition of national, regional, and local Muslim organizations from around the country. As a matter of fact, we started talking about it in 2010 with a group of leaders attending the Mass ICNA convention. And we thought we owe the community much better than being on the stage and giving lectures. We owe the community a vision. We owe the community a path forward to be contributing, productive members of our society, that we represent a religion that has nothing but peace, prosperity for everyone. So we started the discussions and the negotiations and how we best can move forward. The following year, in 2011, we continued the discussion, what would be the best way to move forward? But at that time, it was evident that the national leaders are very committed and determined to continue the journey. And for that, we owe this unity and this day for the dedication, commitment of the leadership of the Muslim community. And please help me thank them with a good round of applause. As you know, each one of them is a leader of their own within their community and within their own organizations, but they have committed to come frequently to Washington, D.C., coming from all different places and states. And we come for 2 days meeting. That is dedication, that's a commitment. And because of that, in 2013, we officially registered in the District of Columbia as the U.S. Council of Muslim Organizations, and we celebrated our establishment in an inaugural event that we were honored to have with us Congressman Keith Ellison and Congressman Andre Carson. Their president, yes. At that time, their presence was very important for us. And really gave a very positive and encouraging message for the Muslim community to be together, for the Muslim leadership on organizations to work together, and to be more active politically and socially. And obviously, politically, One of the signature projects of the U.S. Council of Muslim Organizations is the National Muslim Advocacy Day on Capitol Hill. Almost over 72 organizations participate, more than 450 people. And we meet with almost half of the House, half of the Senate, and 1/3 of the House in a true engagement with our representatives. I think the spirit of brotherhood, sisterhood in these events, coming together, advocating for what is good for America, what is good for our neighbors and friends and fellow citizens, what's good for the workers, what's good for the teachers, what's good for everyone. We have advocated, including Muslim issues, including stopping the Muslim ban that is absolutely outrageous to have in a country like the United States of America. So this was the fruit of this type of unity. And we continue to grow, and we continue to tackle different issues for the community. We held the first ever International Conference of Muslim Councils in the Western Hemisphere, where Muslim councils coming from Europe, UK, France, Germany, Spain, Belgium, Norway, Sweden, Spain, coming from Italy, come from Australia, as well as South Africa and Latin America. This was in 2016 in Washington, D.C. And one of the most wonderful gatherings of Muslim leaders concerned about their communities and the countries that they live in. That's what the U.S. Council of Muslim Organizations is all about, bringing everybody together. Because as we say, together we are stronger. This could not, of course, have been done without the cooperation, the belief, the support, the faith in what we do, without the support of the Muslim leadership and the national organization as well as the local organizations. We started with 8 founding members: American Muslim for Palestine, AMP, Council on American Islamic Relations here, Islamic Circle of North America, ICNA, Muslim American Society, MAS, Muslim Alliance in North America, MANA, Muslim Legal Fund, MLFA, and Muslim Ummah of North America, as well as our beloved brothers and sisters at the Ministry of Imam Wahid bin Muhammad, the Mosque Cares. Those were the 8 founding members who started the council. From 8 members to 32 right now, and we're counting. May Allah put all the barakah in this effort, and inshallah, hopefully, next anniversary, we will be talking about hundreds, if not thousands, of organizations coming and joining with us. That's briefly. I know there's a lot that we have done over the 5 years, from summits to tackle issues of counter-violent extremism, to countering Islamophobia that is unfortunately causing a lot of harm, a lot of danger, and threatening the lives of innocent American Muslims around the country, as well as protecting our civil rights of Muslims and non-Muslims as well. And I'm very proud of our civil rights organizations who are really in the forefront, irrespective of what the person's background is. As long as we are all American, we all deserve the freedom and the protection that everyone should afford. And that's where we really continue to grow and to continue to connect because of this good dedication of these Muslim organizations. And unfortunately, we know there's a lot of misinformation about these organizations out there. And our purpose is to connect with our members of Congress and other members of our society, our fellow citizens, to explain the truth about their good neighbors and good co-workers, and about their good employers, their teachers, their professors, their doctors, who we are. So we can do this collectively. And in addition, we have embarked in many different initiatives. And inshallah, you will see in 2019 good work by the U.S. Council of Muslim Organizations, and we want you to take part Because again, yeah, maybe we are organizations who are forming this, but it is the people, you, who are making the difference. With that, I'm not going to go into full depth. I think the brochure of the booklet gives you a glimpse of what we do. And I think let our actions on the ground be the spokesperson for us and to be the true loudspeaker of who we are and what we do. But I would like to bring my good brothers and sisters, my colleagues in the council, to be recognized here, because this is what we are. We are always together, no matter what. And I know some of them, unfortunately, they were overseas and trying to come, and their flights been messed up. So some are not able to join us here, but the rest are here. And I hope the stage will be good enough to get us all in here. So I would like to call upon our brothers and sisters from the CARE and ICNA, all ICNA leadership that was there, please, and our MAS, and our Muna, brother from Wartadi Muhammad, please, as well as every organization that is member of USCMO. And I do have our local council here, the CIUGC, by the way, is a member of USCMO, and we are very delighted to have them in here. So, Brother Abdul, yes, you are MC, but you can also stand with us as well. And also, I have the Shura Council of Southern California. They were with us here, and also the Shura Council of New York is here as well. And we have United Muslim Relief, and we have Mercy Without Limits, and we have ICNA Relief, and we have Helping Hands, and we have the Burmese Rohingya of North America Association with us here as well. And we have our Islamic Islamic Association of North America, mostly the Somalis, brothers and sisters. And we have also the Mas Foundation, and we have ICCI, we have ICW with us here today as well, and ICW, and who else we have? Yeah, of course, yeah, is here, I didn't mention that. Please, if I did not mention anybody, if I forgot anybody, please come, just remind me. And of course, we're going to recognize other members and sponsors. But those are the members of the organization here, and that we are very delighted. We are very happy. We are trying to encourage you. And by the way, many organizations are joining, and their applications is underway. And we were so excited they put them on the one organization, we put them on the book. So we encourage you, if you have an organization, to come and join the U.S. Council of Muslim Organizations. Brothers and sisters, we have experienced the wonderful working relationship we have. Today, we had a day-long General Assembly meeting. We discussed some serious issues. It was an introductory meeting. It was our first. However, we had to tackle some serious issues. What's important about this great assembly that you see here is the professionalism, is the high spirit of respect when we have different opinions, and the great way we converge onto a decision that we all adapt and stand behind. That is where our strength is. And that's what is the guarantee for us to continue, and we will never split, bi-idhnillah, by Allah's will. For them, I have a great respect, gratitude, and they are the backbone of the council, and please help me thank them for the work that they have done, and thank you for being with us. I think each one also wanted to say a one-minute word so that I'm not forcing on them. They're going to say it themselves. So we will start as we go with the founding members. I think what we have, we start with the CARE. Sister Rick. Well, you are taking away the announcement. It's coming by itself. We'll announce that later. Just introducing as if and before December 31st. So Sister Rola Alush from CARE at this point.
Assalamu alaikum. It's an honor to be here with you all on behalf of the National Board of Directors of CARE. In these most challenging times for our community, we at CARE are committed as ever to serving our community, making sure that we, in every way we can, complete our mission and vision of advocating for our community and empowering our community in these most challenging times. From challenging the Muslim ban in court to just earlier this week mobilizing Muslim faith leaders to join with other faith groups to stand in solidarity with human beings whose human rights are being violated on our country's borders. Our work is more effective when done in a unified effort and standing shoulder to shoulder with other communities, but also making sure that we stand shoulder to shoulder as Muslims working together to advocate for and defend and protect the rights of our community members. So congratulations to the community on seeing this umbrella organization reach the 5-year mark, and inshallah we look forward to continuing to work with our brothers and sisters in the future. Jazakumullah khair. Assalamu alaikum.
Of course, not all of them give a speech, but one from each organization. So the next is going to be England, Islamic Circle of North America.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulullah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Indeed, it is a great honor to be here with all of you and all the leadership of USCMO on this 5th anniversary. When we started this conversation back over 5 years ago, as Brother Osama mentioned, it was a dream, and alhamdulillah, through many ups and downs, alhamdulillah, we're celebrating the 5th year. Indeed, the credit goes to American Muslim community for supporting these organizations and your support for USCMO. Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum.
I think next we'll have Mass, Muslim American Society. You can speak that. Our former executive director.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah wa salatu wa salamu ala Rasulillah. I just have one short message. Unity is strength, and it is best when it is associated with the highest values. Let us be strong in standing up for that which is right. Assalamu alaikum.
And we will have the women.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillah, salatu wassalamu ala Rasulillah. Dear brothers and sisters, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. On behalf of Muslim Ummah of North America, I would like to congratulate USCMO on its 5-year anniversary. Again, this is a real testament in front of us that together we can achieve everything. And our work is not done yet. Inshallah, looking forward to a great future. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
I have now Ministry of Imam Wafiddin Muhammad.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. And welcome, alhamdulillah. What can I say? Me being the son of one of the most well-known Muslim communities in the world. My grandfather was a founder, and well, not the founder, the builder of the Nation of Islam, and Imam Wafiddin Muhammad, my father, my name, of which I'm his namesake, who passed in 2008. He saw over 20,000 as he entered the leadership of his father's community convert to Al-Islam at one of our annual events. And me being here today is a great blessing and a dream come true to me, being a person who was kept out of that separative organization, who wore the name of Muslim, but being raised in a household of an imam who taught me and showed me many of his friends who have familiar faces and maybe some relatives of some of the men that you see here. This diversity is hard to find an organization with this diversity of humanity represented here. So the dream fulfilled through this, when I heard the opportunity to join an organization that was going to be a body of somewhat of an intelligentsia that's going to watch out for the interests and preserve the culture and not allow the culture of the Muslim culture to be lost, which is what my 3 generations of my family have lived for, that this has been such a great experience. And the 5 years, the bonds echo what our Attorney General says, that the bonds between us have grown, that we're really truly more like a family than an organization today. And I thank you all, and I hope we all continue to enjoy the efforts of this group here. Thank you.
I would like to have the, we're going to go from the sunny side, so we're going to go to the Islamic Shura Council of Southern California.
Assalamu alaikum. It's been an honor, a privilege, and a beautiful homecoming from the Islamic Shura Council of Southern California. I congratulate USCMO from one of the largest and the delegation that has probably traveled the furthest from sunny Southern California. You know it takes a lot to come to Chicago in December. So we have a lot of hope and a lot of aspirations for this, this initiative, and we look forward to supporting it and fully participating in it. And our prayers are with the staff, with the board, and everybody, and it's working. Jazakallahu khair.
We appreciate all the warmth that you brought with you from California. And now we're going to go a little bit to the east now, to the east side, and we are going with the Shura Council of New York.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. He took me by surprise. I don't know exactly what to say. But if you are here, you do care. You do care about what? About the unity of the Muslims. The USCMO is one of the examples in the world, or can I say, one of the successful examples in the world that brought together many national and local organizations together. In 5 years, you see what it is now. If you are here, it means that you are witnessing the making of history of the Muslims in the US. It was made before, but we are making a turning point in the history of the Muslims. And this is very essential for us to remember. Everyone who is here tonight, remember tonight. What is the date? 15th? 15th of December, 2018. A couple of days before the end of the year, remember this day. After 20 years from today, if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala extends in our lives, we will see the transformation in the generations that come and that make the future of the society here in the US, of the Muslims. And everyone has an impact on the society, not on the Muslims. Whether he is a representative like our Congressman Keith Ellison, or other people, regular people. They have an impact, not on the Muslims only, but on the society. And we have a positive impact and positive influence. We are Muslims. And if we don't have a positive influence, then we need to make it happen. Assalamu alaikum.
I'm going to go also with one of our also members, Helping Hand.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. I was thinking I got away by sending name by here. So, Jazakallah khair. This is an amazing opportunity and a gathering. I see so many familiar faces of ICNA, Helping Hand. Brothers and sisters, in this time where we are facing the challenges which are very different, unique, new, we need special ways to deal with them. We were just talking this afternoon with some of the brothers. The opponents, the Islamophobes, literally write an article every second against the Islamic organizations. They have been extremely active in the last few months because they have sensed something. What they have sensed is the unity among all of us. And they see that they are the people. When I just got a letter last week from the father, the priest in deep down South Florida. We went there for a mobile clinic help during the hurricane. Economic relief was there, impacted the whole community, a small town. All of them came. There is no hospital in that town anymore. There was lack of food. They did not have the utilities. And economic relief from nowhere showed up and stayed there for weeks to help them out. The impact Muslims are creating in this society is being sensed. And alhamdulillah, being together, we will do it with your support. Make lots of dua for us. Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum.
Muammar.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. You know, our name is United. We believe in working with others, and we try to find ways how to support our community. And our slogan is actually better together. So now we are responding to the California fire. We're trying to find ways how to help our society, and I believe that we sit in a treasure, and we are the untapped talent in this country. And together we can do miracles. Assalamu alaikum.
Mercy Without Limits. They are limitless, so they are all over the place. We could not limit them in here. Okay, great. We have also with us here, okay, I think we can start now with the organizations. Let me see here that we have the Burmese Rohingya Associated for North America.
Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. It's a great honor to be here speaking on behalf of Rohingya people in Myanmar and as an organization here in Burmese Rohingya Association of North America. We are very proud to be part of USCMO and all our colleagues in advancing the cause of Rohingya in Myanmar. As you know, I don't want to take too much time. The situation faced by Rohingya Muslims in Myanmar, the horror they are facing today, and we are very fortunate to have USCMO as a platform, as a major force in mobilizing a Muslim Ummah, not only US and beyond, US government and congressmen, all that mobilizing on this issue. I want to take this opportunity today to especially thank our Congressman Keith Ellison for his noble efforts in the Capitol Hill on Rohingya issue. With one latest example was passing a bill 1091 a couple of days ago on Rohingya issue. Inshallah, our hats off to all those who worked so hard to get this legislated, and we had 3-4 legislations already took place previously in the Capitol Hill. Inshallah, your prayer is with us. One day, the Rohingya people will be able to return to their homeland and regain their political rights, human rights, all the rights they have had for centuries in their homeland. Again, I want to thank USCMO to invite Burmese Rohingya Association of North America to join, and this is my first attendance, first time attending this 5th year anniversary, and inshallah we hope many more years to come. Jazakumullah khair. Thank you very much.
They all promised me now that they're going to make it short, every one of them, so thank you for making that promise. And I'm going to go with the IANA, the Islamic Association of North America.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Hassan Jama. I'm the Executive Director of Islamic Association of North America, IANA. It's a nationwide umbrella organization with over 30 Islamic centers and organizations to meet the religion and social needs of Muslim society in North America. It's a great night. It's a historic night. We joined today, actually a few weeks ago, officially USCMO. We used to participate in the last few years, partake all the efforts, and finally decide to be part of this great organization. We believe in unity. That is why we joined USCMO. We believe that USCMO is doing a good job for bringing Muslims organizations under the one umbrella to serve our community and the large society. Thank you, USCMO. We will be with you. And I would like to mention one thing. I'm from Minnesota, and the Keith Ellison, a congressman is here, and AG elected Attorney General. Minnesota is the one who sent Keith Ellison to DC, and the USCMO is based to DC. So we join in again with Ilhan in the DC. May Allah give us the unity and the strength that we can help the humanity, all human beings, as it is the mission of our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Assalamu alaikum.
I was told even the next one is going to be even shorter, so I'm going to go with here. ICW.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. On behalf of the Islamic Center of Wheaton, I congratulate the USCMO on its celebration tonight for hard work for the last 5 years. It's a big accomplishment. ICW was one of the first local organizations to join USCMO, and we encourage others to do the same. USCMO can do this work. USCMO is doing the work for everybody else. It's a good advocate, good lobbyist for Islamic issues, concern, and an agenda. As Congressman Ellison said earlier today, we're here to celebrate, but we also have challenges to face. And we need to get ready for those challenges. Support USCMO, the big advocate for our cause, and with your support, CMO will succeed.
Okay, the next one is, do we have ICCI here? Of course, the host is going to take their time because we are grateful for CIUGC, our host city here. I want to make sure that all other organizations will be here. Sure. Okay. And now CIUGC, Council of Islamic Organization, Greater Chicago, because they are the host. We are giving them the final words here, and we are very appreciative of their support and their work with us.
Assalamu alaikum. I know you've heard a lot of words, so I'm going to try to be very brief. First, Chicago is pleased to host this organization. It represents a deep need for our community. A lot of the issues we face are federal, national in scope, and that is the intent of this organization, to address the issues as they relate to immigration, refugees that are confronting us as a community. So let me close out that what Chicago doesn't provide in warmth from like Southern California, we provide it in hospitality, and we thank all of you for being here.
And also, we have Beijing here as well. So,
I don't know who I bribed to be able to speak twice, but I'll be brief again. Alhamdulillah. I just want to say that Our challenges are really enormous on certain levels. When we look at the different challenges we have to face, and there is no one organization that can face these challenges. But imagine if we brought together youth organizations and relief organizations and advocacy organizations and grassroots organizations, and we came together in order to make a difference. Don't you believe that we will be able to make a difference? Absolutely, inshallah, we will be able to make a difference. Absolutely, inshallah, bi'idhnillah, next year and the following year, it will be a greater gathering with many more accomplishments. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
UHR? Is UHR with us here? I know they were in the meeting. Okay. Did I miss anybody? Yeah. This event could not have been done without the support of our sponsors. And one of our main sponsors is Islamic Relief, and I would like to listen to their message and what they are doing here. Can we hear it, please?
The Prophet Muhammad said, anybody who believes in Allah and the last day should serve his neighbor generously. At Islamic Relief USA, we care for people around the world, but we know our first duty is to the closest to us, our neighbors. That's what our fellow Americans, and we're there for them in emergencies like hurricanes in Texas and Puerto Rico. This is Islam. This is Islamic Relief. Donate today at IRUSA.
I also would like to thank the supporter of this program as well, all those who have sponsored our evening, Zakat Foundation, as well as Mercy Without Limits, and Beit al-Mal, and UMR, and UHR, ICNA Relief, Helping Hand, and Turkish Airlines. All of you, thank you very much. We really appreciate it. And thank you for all of you for making USCMO a reality in Germany. Thank you. And wish him well and success. And we probably need to pray for him to make a really successful arrival into Washington, D.C. The new Congressman-elect Sean Casten is with us here today. We would like to recognize and thank a very good friend of the community, the Consul General of Turkey, Mr. Umut Acar. Thank you for being with us. First, this night, it is the 5th anniversary, but it has a very special moment, very special addition to it, which is Congressman Keith Ellison, who was the first Muslim congressman, and now he is the first Muslim Attorney General in the country. The second evening will be dedicated to Congressman Keith Ellison, so now we want you to enjoy your dinner. Thank you. Who made us all celebrate our contribution to our country. But before I do that, and before the person's going to come and introduce, we have a major event happening today for the U.S. Council of Muslim Organizations. We had a General Assembly meeting. The way we operated, we did not have a chairperson. Each organization has a seat on the council, especially the board. And there is a secretary general. But there is no chairperson. So we amended the bylaw. We said, we are going to select a chair every year among the founding members. So we got 8 founding members, And we are going to have a draw. Why do we want to have a draw? Because we want to keep out of elections. We want to leave caucusing and teaming to vote for this or for that. We have equal caliber of leadership. They're all presidents or CEOs of their organizations. So we arrived at the best formula. And this formula is that we will do a draw, no elections, no voting, among the 8. Once we pick the first, then that organization will assume the chairmanship of the council for 1 year. And then the next year, we will have a draw among the 7 remaining. And then the 6 remaining, and the 5 remaining, until all 8 serve. And we have continuously, and every year, bringing everyone up. So that there is no voting, no ill feeling, no why we voted for this or voted for that. Everyone will have a chance. After all, it is to keep our organization together. And this was really an awesome process. And as we say, الخيرة فيما اختاره الله. The best selection is what God will select for you. So whoever is picked, that's the person, or that's the organization is going to be. Please, to announce to you, starting January 2019, the chairmanship of the council has been drawn to be the Council on American Islamic Relations, CAIR. And we don't have any better person to represent CAIR than the chairwoman of CAIR, the national chairwoman of CAIR, who is with us here tonight, Sister Lula Alouche. Please come over. So in addition to the Secretary General, which is the kind of day-to-day activities, now we have a chairmanship, and the CAIR will announce their chairman and the chairperson, and we certainly look forward and favorably to Sister Lula Alouche, who is going to introduce our beloved congressman and his contribution. We did not find any better one to make that introduction than our very own Sister Lula Alouche, the chairwoman of CAIR National.
Assalamu alaikum again. Jazakumullah khair, everybody. We here are humbled with this responsibility. We appreciate the support from our brothers and sisters in the other organizations of the USCMO. And inshallah, we'll do our best to work to strategically fulfill and strengthen our unity, inshallah, which is our overriding goal as this umbrella organization for our community and so on. So jazakumullah khair, each of you, for your support, and we look forward to being the first, inshallah. I have the distinct privilege of introducing our keynote speaker, our dear brother Keith, to the stage today, and to introduce him to the community to share his remarks, as he is now an outgoing congressman, mashallah, and incoming attorney general. And we all know that Brother Keith is dear to us. He is the first Muslim in Congress. And brothers and sisters, he shattered a glass ceiling. He is a groundbreaking congressperson and community leader in our organization. We are all seeing now that in the future terms we'll have Congressman Andre Carson, Congresswoman Rashida Tlaib, and Congresswoman Ilhan Omar, and mashallah, they're here because of the guidance and leadership. Before I introduce him to the stage, I wanted to turn your attention to the video screens to watch a video of our dear brother.
There has not been a single Muslim public servant and legislator in the United States more influential been Congressman Keith Ellison. Born August 4th, 1963 in Detroit, Michigan, Keith Ellison, a proud father of four, was influenced from an early age by the involvement of his family in the civil rights movement, including his grandfather's work as a member of the NAACP in Louisiana. Ellison graduated in 1981 from the University of Detroit Jesuit High School and Academy, where he was active in sports and a senator in the student government. Keith went on to earn a law degree from the University of Minnesota, but after 3 years at a firm in Minneapolis skyscraper, Keith says he was called to do social justice and went on to pursue his calling. Keith joined the Legal Rights Center with a vision to provide vigorous public advocacy and criminal defense representation to marginalized members of his community when their constitutional rights had been threatened. After serving 2 terms as a Minnesota State Representative, Keith ran a successful campaign and became Minnesota's first African-American state representative and the first Muslim to be elected to Congress, where his guiding philosophy is based on generosity and inclusion, and his priorities in Congress are building prosperity for working families, promoting peace, pursuing environmental sustainability, and advancing civil and human rights. Congressman Ellison later went on to achieve major legislative accomplishments, including the Credit Card Holders Bill of Rights Act and Protecting Tenants and Foreclosure Act in the aftermath of the 2008 global recession. Keith has become an inspiration to Muslim youth across the nation who have been disheartened by the alienation, discrimination, and division in the aftermath of the tragic event of 9/11, serving as a prime example of the potential of American success and service. As Minnesota's Attorney General-elect, Keith Ellison will always be recognized as a pioneer in political wars, rallied for labor rights, protested racial injustice, and defended civil liberties. The U.S. Council of Muslim Organizations is proud to honor Congressman Keith Ellison for his lifetime of service.
Was with us on our first evening, recognizing USCMO as the new umbrella organization for our community, and along with him was his fellow Congressman Andre Carson. I'm now asking you to turn your attention to the screens for a message from Congressman Carson.
Assalamu alaikum, I'm Congressman Andre Carson. I can't be there with you, but I want to thank the U.S. Council of Muslim Organizations for allowing me to say a few words. As always, I greatly appreciate your support and cooperation together in the next Congress. I'm happy to congratulate Congressman Keith Ellison, or General Ellison, for receiving tonight's Outstanding Public Service Award. Throughout my time in Congress, Keith has been a friend, a mentor, and a confidant. He's someone I can count on when things get tough. I think you probably feel the same way about him. You see, Keith has stood by our side, not just through words, but through his actions. He's fought for greater justice, more affordable health care, and peace. He has worked to increase civic engagement across the board, particularly amongst young Muslims. As Keith moves on to become Minnesota's next AG, I'm happy and excited to watch him continue to defend human rights for all of us. Thank you. Jazakallah khair. Assalamu alaikum.
Muslim Attorney General, our dear brother, Congressman Keith Ellison, who will be recognized with U.S. Muslim's Outstanding Public Service Award.
Can you see it? Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Dear respected brothers and sisters, I am a man who comes to you in great gratitude, tremendous gratitude I'm a person who owes a lot of folks, starting with you. I can tell you that when I first put my hat in the ring in 2006, many of you, some of them remember, well, were there. I can tell you many of you were right there at my side, no doubt. My brothers and sisters from Minnesota, particularly leaders in the Somali community in particular, were knocking on doors and helping me raise money and do everything to help me get into office. And I have always felt like I was not a congressperson. I felt like I'm a Congress group because I was never alone, never by myself. You all stayed close to me, and it was a great blessing that you did. And in 2006, when I went to Congress, there hadn't been anybody of the Muslim faith in Congress before. And I knew that I couldn't just be the first. I actually had to do a good job to represent you. And so now, 12 years later, can you imagine? 12 years later? 12 years later, January 3rd, they're going to swear in a new Congress. New Congress is coming in. And instead of none, which there was in 2006, and we got one, now there's going to be 3. And I'm not one of them. So, I may have been the first, but I wasn't the last. Alhamdulillah. I would say, we're going in the right direction. The other thing to remember is it's true that there will be 3 Muslims in Congress in January 3rd. I won't be amongst them, but the majority will be women. The majority will be women. And I just want to say to you and remind you, in Philadelphia 2016, you remember Kaiser and Ghazala Khan gave a heart-rending speech in which those two people, a married couple who lost their son in service to his country, their Gold Star family, after Kaiser Khan gave that tremendous speech with Ghazala right there, Donald Trump said, well, you know, they don't let the women talk. Well, here he is judging a woman who lost her precious child in war. It's not hard to understand why she would have trouble coming up with the right words, because words cannot describe losing your child. Am I right about that? But she is a strong, powerful voice. And these 2 sisters who you're about to see coming into Congress are strong, powerful voices too. I could not be more proud of Ilhan Omar, who is taking my place in Congress. And I am extremely proud of Rashida Tlaib, who is coming from Detroit, Michigan. And you should be proud of her too. I ask you to look after them. Will you do it? Yeah. Take good care of them? Right. Now look, brothers and sisters, there will be times when they take a vote or make a statement you don't agree with. Come on, bring them, don't call them out. Bring them in a room and say, you know, brother, sister, we would have preferred this thing to go this way. Maybe there's some information you need, right? And even better yet, before votes come up, go to them and say, you know, there's smoke coming up, and we know because we pay attention, and we would like you to consider a no vote or a yes vote. That's what you call active citizenship. You know, this thing of representation it's a 2-way street. It's not a 1-way street. It's not like we sit you there, don't do everything perfect, and if you don't, we're going to wrap your knuckles. No, after you sit them there, you stay in touch with them, keep talking to them, you tell them what you expect, you tell them good job when the job's good, you tell them, nah, not so good when it's not so good, but we always understand that there's going to be another vote tomorrow and there's going to be something else tomorrow, so we don't burn bridges with the people who we send, always remembering that everyone can be better the next time if we stay in relationship. Now, some of you have asked me, brother, why would you leave a safe seat in Congress? Why would you leave a safe seat in Congress to go run for Minnesota Attorney General? We don't get it. It doesn't make sense to us. Well, let me just tell you this, tell you a little story. As a Minnesota congressperson, and many of us stood with you, absolutely appalled when President Trump issued an executive order keeping his campaign promise that he was going to ban Muslims from the United States. You remember he said that? He then comes up with this executive order banning 5 countries, all of which were majority Muslim countries. And he said, we're going to ban these folks. We're going to ban them. We're going to keep them out. But then somebody told him, you know, the Establishment Clause of the U.S. Constitution says you can't ban people based on their religion. Oh, yeah, you can't do it. So he says to Rudy Giuliani, go lawyer it up so it'll pass. So they tried that once, they tried that twice, and they failed. Third time, they cleaned it up just enough for a very conservative Supreme Court to be able to pass it through. It got through. But it wasn't Congress that fought those 2 earlier versions. We were appalled, we were against it, but it wasn't Congress that passed it, that fought those versions. You know who fought those versions? State Attorneys General. And they passed this latest version with just today, a group of Muslim lawyers from a group called Muslim Advocates filed a lawsuit saying, you know what? The Supreme Court said that if you're going to have this ban on these countries because the countries don't have a vetting system, then you have to let people in if they can show a hardship. And you're not letting anyone in, hardship or not. So you're violating even your own rules. This is what that lawsuit says. And you know who's joining those lawsuits? Attorneys General. Congress can't do it. Congress is very important. We need great congressmen. We need great congresswomen. But Congress people ultimately are law writers. They write the law. And you can't pass anything unless you get 218 in the House and 60 in the Senate and then 51 after you get cloture. And then you got to get the president to sign it. It's very difficult to pass a law. But it is something that an attorney general can file a lawsuit and get something unconstitutional right away. And so we want you to know that I didn't run from the fight, brothers and sisters. I ran closer to the front of the fight. And I just want you to know that. I want you to know that. I want you to know, somebody said, Brother Keith, does this mean that you're pretty much just going to be stuck in Minnesota since you're the Minnesota Attorney General? And my answer to you is that nowadays, attorneys general are coming together to over cross states, combining their energies, working together, and fighting against states that are wrong. In fact, also today, a judge in Texas found the Affordable Care Act was unconstitutional. Did y'all hear about that? Yeah. Well, the federal government, under Donald Trump, said he refuses to defend the law in court. Who's defending the law? Attorneys General. And you can expect that I will combine my energy with the Attorney General in California, the Attorney General right here in Illinois, Mr. Kwame Raoul, and all over the country, and we'll combine our energies together to fight on your behalf so that you and all Americans can have civil and human rights. I want to let you know that I ran to do basically 2 things. One is to help all Americans afford their lives. And 2, to make sure that everyone is treated with dignity and respect. Let's talk about dignity and respect. It's hard to have dignity and respect when you have a president who is preaching division, who is preaching racial hate and religious bigotry. And when people take a page from that and start adopting and following the lead of the president, doing things that they think the president might like, it makes it very difficult for all Americans. There was a group of people who called themselves the White Rabbit Militia who got in a car and drove from Illinois to Minnesota and did a terrorist attack on the mosque known as Dar al-Farouk. This is a mosque where they blew up the building, and if the imam who was there for Fajr prayer would have been in his office, he would have been probably killed. You never heard the president mention it, did you? But it was a terrorist attack on U.S. soil, and I just want you to know about it. And let me tell you, just a few weeks ago, we saw worshipers at the Tree of Life Synagogue in Pittsburgh attacked. 11 of them shot down. A year before that, you had the Charlottesville. They're marching with tiki torches, talking about you will not replace us. Then said Jews will not replace us. You know, that's one thing I tell you. We need to find solidarity with people of goodwill and people who are also under attack just like us, because we understand that, you know what, if these folks who say this kind of stuff, they don't like Muslims, they don't like Jews, they don't like liberals, they don't like women, they don't like black folks, they don't like really anybody unless you're just like them. And so it is on our shoulders to find common cause and friendship so that we can have some solidarity and some survival from these folks over here. I'm telling you that as an attorney general, you can stop hate crimes, stop hate-motivated violence. And I'm telling you, as your attorney general, I will combine my energy with the attorney general of Illinois and anywhere in this country to stand up against these race haters who would bomb, who would kill, who would assassinate people just because of their religion or their race. We've got to stand against this. We've got to call out the government. We can't have political leaders saying, oh, it's just on both sides. No, there's no both sides when we're talking about the Nazis and the Ku Klux Klan. They're just bad all on their own, period. And as an attorney general, I plan on standing up against them. But I can't do it alone. I'm going to need your help. I'm going to need your backup. Can I count on you, as I always am? Yeah. Yes, I think so. I want to commend you, because one of the things I want to tell you about is, as Attorney General, I'm going to work hard to enforce a piece of legislation in Minnesota called the Women's Economic Security Act. As you know, women earn quite a bit less money than men do. They live longer and therefore depend upon Social Security longer, and yet they've earned less over the course of a lifetime. So it's not uncommon to see a 70, 80-year-old woman who doesn't have much to depend on more than Social Security. We're going to fight to make sure that women have the dignity and respect that they are entitled to. As you know, in the Quran it says the believing men and the believing women, right? So we believe in that. That's where we are, and I'm very proud that you all have chosen Rula Alusha as your chair. That's a very good signal, because we want to make sure the world knows that we value the talents of our sisters. Do we not? We want the world to know that we believe our daughters have many talents that they have to offer this world. And so your decision to make Rula the chair, I know is very, very, very important. And I think every sister in the room knows that, you know, that they're being, that their values and their talents are being considered with your choice. And I'm sure, inshallah, we'll have many more sisters serving on the board as well. What do you think, Rula?
That sounds very good.
Yeah, she says that sounds good. Let me just say to you that the Muslim community since 2006 has made some great strides. Let's just review. Shall we review? When I first got there, we had a guy named Tom Tancredo who said, if there's one more terrorist attack, then the United States should bomb Mecca. Remember that? Yeah. There was another guy named Wilson Goode who, when he said, if the United States doesn't support the Wilson Goode program for immigration, there might be many more Muslims going to Congress demanding to be sworn in on the Quran. And we're going to have our money not say in God we trust, it's going to say in Mohammed we trust. That's what he put it. I said, wow. Well, here's the good news. Both of them are gone. We also had a guy named Alan West. He was full of vitriolic hate and for the Muslim community. We ran a candidate, the Muslim community got behind the candidate, and we defeated him, put him out. You can clap for that. This is good news. Because what it shows is that if you spew out hatred and nasty stuff against the Muslim community as an elected public official, there is a political price to pay for that. And let me tell you, we didn't do it alone. People of goodwill of all faiths said, you know what? we'll join in and help you. I remember there was a nasty fellow who called himself a minister. I can hardly believe this guy could be considered a man of God. He called himself Terry Jones. He was from Florida. And he said he was going to burn a Quran in Dearborn, Michigan. Right? Anybody from Michigan in the house? Yep, there's a few. Didn't he say it? Yeah, he did. And then when he said he was going to do it on a particular date and time, and it was interesting because some folks called me up and said, Brother Keith, can you leave Minnesota, come to Michigan? Terry Jones is coming. And I said, brother, if I come there, it's going to be about Keith Ellison. And it just can't be about Keith Ellison. It's got to be about the community. But I didn't call some of my friends and I said, you're going to get over to Dearborn, are you not? They said, yeah, we're going to go. It ended up being that there were more Christians and Jews and Hindus and Buddhists and everybody else standing in solidarity with the Muslim community than it was the haters, right? And we through the force of people power and love, we showed that his kind of nasty was not wanted. Also, does anybody remember the Ground Zero Mosque? Yes. It wasn't at Ground Zero, and it was not a mosque. It was a Muslim center. And yet the haters were pushing this narrative about the Ground Zero Mosque. Somehow Bloomberg, who was the mayor of the city council, thought it was just fine to have a Muslim center a few blocks from the Ground Zero, but these haters didn't agree that that was the case, and they whipped it up real ugly. When I went there, the Muslim community was not alone. All of our neighbors and friends stood shoulder to shoulder and said, we're not going to tolerate this kind of hate. And we stood up against it. And then, I'll never forget, when the Republicans took over in 2010, and they got the gavels, Peter King, he said, when I get the gavel, we're going to have a series of hearings on Muslim violent extremism. I went to him and I said, hey, look, Congressman, you know, none of us are against hearings on violent extremism, but certainly you got the Ku Klux Klan, you got the Nazis, you got all kind of bad people who do bad things. We're not saying leave the Muslims out of it, we're just saying put everybody who does it in it. He said, no, just the Muslims. I said to him, I said, look, this is unfair, and I went on TV and I spoke against it. He comes up to me and he says, you know what, I'll let you testify. And I wasn't sure it was a good idea, Osama. I wasn't sure it was a good idea because I said, look, I don't want to go in here and like give credibility to this guy's ugly hearing, you know what I mean? But then I talked to some folks and they said to me, no, you need to go, you need to go. We don't want to be like out of the conversation, you need to be there. We're not going to let them have a show without being challenged. So I go. And I wrote out a speech. And the night before I do it, I got a few folks on the phone and I read my speech to them and said, what do you think? And one of those people said to me, you need to call Talat Hamdani, because you're about to mention her son, Salman Hamdani. You're mentioning her son in your remarks, and she's going to be here. You don't want to have her be upset and surprised. So I called her. What I thought was going to be about a 3-minute conversation ended up being an hour-and-a-half conversation as this mom tenderly spoke about her son, who was a first responder and ran to 9/11 when everybody else was running away from it, as you would imagine they might do. He was running to the scene of the danger to save people, 23 years old. She talked about her son's football jersey, not soccer. You know, he grew up in Pakistan. You didn't expect him to be thinking about cricket or soccer or something. No, he's talking about good old American football. You know, the Bears, right? Who, by the way, beat the Vikings. I guess I'll forgive y'all for that. Oh, come on. Next year. Anyway, I did go there that next morning, and I did give a talk, and honestly, I was really embarrassed because even though I got through most of it okay, some of y'all might remember I got a little choked up toward the end of it. I thought to myself, wow, I really blew it. Now I didn't make it all the way through with a clear eye. And you know what, when I was done, I told Miss Hamdani, I said, I'm really sorry, I kind of got weepy in the hearing. She said, son, don't be upset about that. You helped humanize my son. You helped give us the emotion that was associated with how we felt. And you carried our hopes and dreams. And I wonder, why did I get upset in that hearing? And I'm going to tell you why I think I got upset in that hearing. Because so many of you, my dear friends, had told me how you've been pulled off airplanes in front of everybody in handcuffs sometime, that had your daughter's hijab snatched off her head, had people yelling crazy things at you, you know? people attacked. I just heard too many sad stories. Somebody told me, you know, I come from Somalia. I lived through a war, and yet I come to Minnesota and get smashed in the face for speaking Swahili with a glass. I lived through a war, and yet here I'm not safe. And you hear enough of those stories, you absorb all that, and sometimes the emotions might overcome you. But I feel honored to have heard all those stories from you. I feel blessed to be able to carry your message. And I thank God for the experience of hearing each one of those stories, because what they did is they helped deepen me and helped strengthen my faith. Let me tell you, a lot of good things have happened to us since 2006. And many, many more, I think, inshallah, will continue to happen. In Minnesota alone, Ilhan Omar, we lost her in the state legislature, didn't we? We had her in there, and she was in the state legislature, and now she ran for Congress, so she's not there anymore. Oh no, I know what I'm talking about. We lost her in the state legislature because she's in Congress. But don't worry, because Mahmoud Noor and Hoda Hassan took her place. We lost one and got two. How do you like that? We lost one and we got two. And we had folks running for school board, running for city council, running for all this. And the most important thing, in my humble opinion, is not that we got all these offices. That's not even the most important thing, that we had all these folks win. If Hassan Jama was here, if Imam Hassan Jama was talking to you, he would tell you that perhaps the most important thing was on one night during the campaign, we got so many Muslim activists together that they called 13,000 people on one night to get out the vote. Now, if you got 13,000, if you got enough people to call 13,000 people in one night, you can elect anyone you want. You don't have to worry about some one candidate here or one candidate there. You can replicate success if you can do that. And so this is very important. In fact, one of the other great successes is that the Muslim community, the Muslim Coalition of Minnesota, got together with a group called Isaiah, which is a multi-faith institution. And they worked together to try to help lift up the political voice. And one of their main things that they're fighting for is to stop Islamophobia. Yup, you got Lutherans, Presbyterians, Catholics, Jews, and any other kind of denomination you can name pledging, we will stand against Islamophobia with you. That's a good thing. That's a good thing. And so this is kind of coalition politics that could be in our future. Let me tell you this, I was so honored, Osama, to be at the inaugural meeting of the United States Muslim Coalition. And the reason why is because we were with some wonderful, wonderful leaders there. I first heard the call of Islam by someone who was taught Islam by Warithdin Muhammad. The Imam is how we refer to him. That's where I first learned Islam. Anybody here from the Imam Muhammad's community? Yeah, that's where I learned Islam. And it's the best thing that ever happened to me. And I remember when I won in 2006, I got a visitor. Somebody got on a plane in Chicago, flew all the way to Detroit, came to my mother's house and sat down and told me that they were proud of the work that I did, they wanted to support me. That was none other than Imam Warithdin Muhammad. And it was one of the great honors that I've ever had. And I mention that because it's important to make sure that the coalition has the whole family in the coalition. I want to thank you, Mr. Secretary General and Madam Chair, for continuing to reach the arms out, expand the arms. It's really important that we have the Rohingya community in our ranks. It's really important that we have both the Sunni and the Shia. You know, there's a lot of Muslim organizations that are like all Sunni Muslims. We got to reach out and make sure the whole family is part of the team. We can't leave anyone out. We got to make sure that we got people from all colors and all cultures. and let me tell you, the Sahaba were a multicultural group, were they not? This is such a wonderful lesson for us. You know, and I tell you, you know, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam had to tell us in his final speech, he had to tell us, you know what? The Arab's not better than the non-Arab. And the non-Arab's not better than the Arab. You know he had to tell us that. You know why? Because somebody said, I'm Arab, the prophet's Arab, I must be better than y'all. But he said, no, you're not. No, you're not. He said, oh, well, the black is not better than the white, and the white's not better than the black. And he said, if you think otherwise, Bilal will be the one who calls us all to prayer. He was all, you know, let me tell you, you're part of this incredibly rich family, this wonderful ummah, this wonderful community that has this history of multiculturalism and anti-racism. And I want to ask each of you to remember to uphold that wonderful heritage that you have. America needs it. America needs it. I've had many Muslims tell me all about what's haram and what's not. Oh, brother, this is haram. Brother, that's haram. Brother, that's haram. I said, is racism haram? I think that it is. Imams, is racism haram? Yes. I think there's a consensus opinion on this. You know, and I want to tell you that dear sister Ilhan Omar has received some racism from some Muslims overseas. I hope y'all talk about that and figure out what you're going to say about it. And remind them about what the faith they say they believe in and what it says. Well, let me wrap up, and I just want to say as I close, these last 12 years have been wonderful because we've been walking together. In the next few years, I want to encourage you. Make sure there's a Muslim Day on the Hill in every state of the Union. Is that something, a project we can take on, Madam Chair? We got a head start. Many already have them. Let's make sure there's one everywhere. Let's get a Muslim Day on the Hill kit. So if you want to start one, you can go get one. Let's try to encourage a Muslim political PAC in every state. Freestanding, we don't control it, but they have theirs. And then they support even candidates of other faiths if they believe in supporting people of all faiths in the Muslim faith, right? Let's try to make sure that we encourage more people to run for office. Brothers, let me tell you, women are often well qualified but don't want to run. Encourage them to run. Tell them they can do it. And I just want to say to all the Muslims here, some of you all who got close to 60, 70, you're thinking to yourself, well, I'm too old to run, but let the young people do it. Look, you might be the only adult supervision on that school board. We need you. You know you're bored in your retirement. Go be the mayor, all right? All right? You got a lot of wisdom. We need some of it. You young people, below 30, you're thinking, oh, I'm too young, I'm too young, I'm too young. You might be the invigoration on that board. You might be the energy on that board. You know, the one that's going to say, we need to do this, and we need to try that. And everybody else is thinking, oh, no, let's settle down. No, you're going to be the energy on that board. We need you to run and be part and run for that mayorship because you got the energy and the vigor, and you will invigorate us. And some of you are in that 40 range. You know, you might have parents you're looking after. You might have kids at home. And you're thinking, oh, I can't run. I got too much to do. Well, let me just tell you this. Who better than you knows the challenges of raising a family in America today? You know how much bread costs, right? You know how much gasoline costs. You can come in there and talk about how the curriculum needs to reflect the cultures of all the people of the world, not just one, right? You could say, look, what about Unit on Islamic contributions to world history? You ever heard of algebra? You know? In other words, you gotta be part of this thing. Some people say, Brother Keith, I have an accent. You know, Arnold Schwarzenegger had an accent. Don't say I have an accent. I'll be back. Remember that guy? And some of you all will say that I have my name is Ahmed, Jamal, Mohammed, Hassan, whatever. The president's name was Barack Hussein Obama. You have no excuses. You have no excuses. But we need you to run, we need you to organize, and we need you to focus on the core issues of the people in this country. Let me tell you, we need you to stand up for those Latino families that are getting ripped apart on that border. Do you have compassion for that? We need you to stand up for people who are paying look, insulin has gone up 1,200% in the last 20 years. Anybody know a diabetic? Yeah. There ain't no Muslim diabetics anymore? I think we got a few. Stand up for fair drug prices. Daraprim used to cost 13 bucks a dose. Somebody bought the patent, now it's $800 a dose. Stand up for yourself. Make sure that this Muslim ban continues to be challenged in court. Call me up and say, Keith, what are you doing on that thing? Come on, get at it. And we're going to work the legislative side, and we're going to work the executive branch side, and we need some of you guys to run for judge. We need some Muslim judges. Anybody remember Adam Shakur in Detroit? We got some Muslim judges, we need more of them. And so what I want to just tell you is that this future is very bright. I know things have been tough. I know things have been tough, and I know that there have been some incredible disappointments, but I also want to just remind you of the good news and encourage you to keep on pushing, keep on pressing. We'll do it together. Sakalahir.
I'm not sure if you're kind or you're mean, because making me follow Keith Ellison is going to be a blow. But thank you all for coming out here. Some of you know I'm the newly elected congressman in the 6th District, during the 6th District. And wisdom to offer beyond the wisdom that Jesus got. But maybe just share a little bit about this cycle that we're in. Martin Luther King said famously that the arc of history bends towards justice. And it's been hard in these last couple of years to feel like it's still bending in the right direction. Certainly it's been hard for me, and I think it's been hard for a lot of folks in this room. It bent in this last election, and it didn't bend because the president made it bend, it didn't bend because the Congress made it bend, it didn't bend because the Supreme Court made it bend. It bent because so many people stood up and said, I'm going to grab that arc and I'm going to bend it, because it's people who know that the principles we were founded on matters. For me in our race, it been in the primary. Naperville was hosting primaries in the Mecca Center and the Islamic Center of Wheaton, and so many friends who are in this room who were getting involved in that process. And it bent all around the country because yeah, I won, but there were 40 other Democrats who won with this energy and brought in two new Muslims, as Congressman Ellison said, 6 African Americans, more women than men. What you're looking at here, I am the minority. That's a beautiful thing. So I thank you for all your help. I would encourage you to stay optimistic about the future and keep bending that arc. Thank you.
Okay, one more word. If you like our projections today, this was a wonderful work of our AV guy. Please show us what you have done in the past.
iSave, your one-stop shop for audio, video, and live events. Your A-to-Z partner when it comes to corporate events, live sound system, projectors, stages, drapes, and lighting. Your business need a jazzy promo or need someone to put your documentary together? Got a wedding? We offer live video streaming to create memorable moments of a lifetime. Or you might need some touch-ups at a professional studio. iSave attention to high-quality audio production is setting industry standards. The professionals at iSave don't take shortcuts, utilizing the best brand name equipment to create the best pristine sound and unforgettable experience. Don't delay. iSave is just a phone call away. Call today.
And also I would like to thank our special photographer who put together Congressman Keith Ellison documentary, if you will. He did it really overnight. I really appreciate wonderful work. Let's give him a round of applause as well. Okay, Jazakumullah khair. Thank you very much, Sheikh Kifah. Will you please do dua for us over here? I know that all this were very patient with us here. But hey, 9:50, we did very good.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Let me just say one thing. I had a small new elect congressman. As a Muslim, I am as happy that people who are not Muslims like Sean are in Congress as much as I am happy as Muslims are. Because at the end, our beloved Prophet said, when his own people mistreated him in Mecca, he said, go under the king of Abyssinia, Ethiopia now. For there is a king, no one will be wronged under him. It is not just celebrating Muslims in Congress. It is our proud moments to celebrate justice in Congress. And for that, I'll finish with a dua and a supplication. Oh Allah, we ask you in this blessed night to put the blessings among us all, to make our tongues speak the truth, our heart feel the faith towards you that will give us the energy to move on for a better life for us all. We ask you to make our neighborhood safe. We ask you to put wisdom in the words and to bring quality life for all of us. In your name, Allah, we pray. Allahumma ameen. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi.